Booyah! Now we have Mike. Thanks for pointing that out. Now we have sound. Sound now. Sound. I just turned it on, so there should be sound. How are we doing now? Yes? Awesome. Thanks, CM Brock. All right. Wow, a lot of people are here. TXP, Kaiju Killer, CM Brock, C. Nielsen, Figures with Sound Wave, Toy Collector, Dink05. I hope I said that right. Yeah, you were first. How's it going, everybody? I'm glad everyone could join me. As I was saying before when the mic was off, this is definitely a strange time to do a live thing because it is, in fact, very early in the week and not a weekend when I think a lot of people do the whole live thing. But honestly, I really just didn't want to make a video about this Batman, and I'll kind of get into it in just a short few minutes here. I actually wanted to just do it live so I could continue on with the video I am working on. So, yeah, good. Sound is good. Figure Depot, what is up? Just sitting here chilling. Got my my tea in the super mug. Drinking a lot less beer as of late. I kind of went off the rails in the summer there. Drank a whole lot too much beer. Weighed in at 253.3 pounds about a week and a half ago. And now I'm down to 243.3 as of this morning. So just working my butt off to get that fat gone. Because I'll get sleep apnea again if I don't. Will Cook, can't hear anything. Well, everyone else says they can hear things, so good now. Awesome. All right. The Batman is weird, but I like it. Says the Bird of Bloodhaven. Yeah, it is kind of strange, which is actually why I didn't want to do a video about the Batman. Honestly, as I mentioned in my previous live stream, the Mcfarlane Batman is actually, out of all the comic book figures, it's the one that I'm the least excited about. Which is kind of sad because Batman's my second favorite character, and I really wish that I could have just saw it and been like, yes, that is the 7-inch Batman, you know, that I think that will be awesome and the be all that end all, the 7-inch Batman. It's just not for me, but it still is very good. I'm just gonna need to customize it. So, all right, wow, sound is choppy. Really, the sound is choppy? That's sort of strange. It shouldn't be. That's good. It used to be 272, now you're 205, says Kaiju Killer. Yeah, it's not easy. It's a lot of work. And happy Monday to you too. Jesse, say what? Okay, so before I get going, oh, no sound good, says Jesse, say what? I don't know. The mic is on, and most people are saying they can hear it. Sounds good to me, so I don't know. Am I going to get the new DC Spin Masters figures? Says Cadence Just Jones. I'd like to. But for a Canadian company, you'd figure they would want to kind of support their own collector market as well, at least at the same time. And I can't find them anywhere in Canada yet. So I'm not sure why they decided to release to the American market first. To me, that just like, oh, the betrayal for releasing to the Americans first. Like I said, at the same time. I don't care if you guys get them early too, but I want them as well. Inacio Annuncia. I know I pronounced that wrong. Sorry about that. Don't you think that the Mcfarlane DC figures ab crunch is poor in terms of range of movement? Yeah, it's not actually an ab crunch. That's it's a ball joint in the torso. But yeah, I do. It's here. I reviewed Superman, so let me pull out Superman just quickly before we get into the Batman. So here's the Superman. Absolutely loved it. It's not perfect, and those of you who watched my review, you will have remembered that I said I didn't like the cape because the cape is pre-posed and it's definitely harder. Like, listen to that. Let's just move the microphone closer for now. And I am going to bring the table that's right here over, but it's harder than I wanted it to be. So there's that. And then, yeah, the ab crunch, like when you combined the abs with the waist and you really pull it, that's all you can get. But it wants to move back forward again. So it really is a kind of a pain in the butt. And Superman's hair in the back gets in the way of that head really going back. I really think that like a hinge with a ball peg probably would have been the way to go. And I'm not sure why Mcfarlane did that, but I do mention that in my video. And I do say that the articulation isn't the greatest. But in the end, in my opinion, this is the best 7-inch scale the best 7-inch scale Superman figure that I've seen. Although, see, I don't consider it's hard. The NECA and this one would be my favorites, but this one's bigger than the NECA. So, but I really like it. I do. But yeah, the torso and the ab area, it could be better, it could be worse. It's, you know, action figure expert. Hello, hello, hello. What's up? What's going on? How are you doing, mister? I'm doing good. Doing really, really well. Thanks for asking. Am I going to customize the Superman? Yes, I am. I actually will get a second one. One will stay in box, and the other one will be open season to have a new cape put on it. Will Cook. It's cool. Now can hear. Awesome. Cool. Superman. Business in the front, party in the back. Yeah, I wonder. I bet you that that DC Direct mullet head would probably fit. Okay, so lots of people already here. What? Spin Master's already been deployed in Mexico. Did I hear that? Already being deployed here in Mexico. Even Mexico's got the Spin Master figures before Canada does, and it's a Canadian company. What the heck? Fearing Mcfarlane to be harder to get, though. They might. I don't know. He seems pretty on top of distribution. They don't have the distribution channels sorted out. Well, I hope you get them. Honestly, I do. In Canada, they're $30 a figure. That's a lot of money, but you know, I pay it. Figures are more expensive in Canada. Like those of you who are watching from Canada, I mean, you can attest to that in the chat that they are more expensive. What's AV money dollars in the US for the Batman figure? I'm not really sure what you're asking. I don't get it. Thanks for my answer. Really, you're welcome. If McFarlane did these, if McFarlane did these in 6-inch, I would buy. But this just seems like restarting a series already built on. Well, that's exactly what it is. It is restarting a series. I mean, let's go back a little bit here. When the DC Universe Classics came out, people were saying the exact same thing. I remember this actually. They were saying, now I got to start my collection all over again. Aside from those Batman figures that Mattel did, most collectors at this point hadn't quite jumped on those early Batman figures. And so they still had the 3 3/4 inch and 4-inch figures that they were collecting. And they were like, now it's a whole new scale. And the thing is, if you don't jump on now, I feel like eventually people that are just not jumping on simply because they're annoyed with the scale because it just doesn't go with what they already have. I feel like you're missing an opportunity here to be here at the ground floor as these new figures come out, because right now it's Superman, it's Batman, it's Nightwing, it's Batman Who Laughs, it's Batgirl. But what characters are they going to give us the next wave and then the next wave? And eventually, you know, it'll be like I bought some DC Universe Classics, and then I kind of stepped back and I was like, oh yeah, a bit too much money for me. And then one day I woke up and looked online. I was like, oh my God, there's like a bazillion characters. There were like 4 waves in before I really began to really go hard, 4 or 5 waves in and really buy them. And I was like, I'm missing out on this. And that's when I had to play catch up, and it was actually a little bit more expensive for me. So, you know, the scale, once he's got 3 years worth of figures out, and you know McFarlane just bulldozes these figures out, eventually there will be an entire world of figures that he's produced for us, and they're going to look fantastic on the shelf. I do hear you. It sucks having to start something new at times, but for me, I find it really exciting, and I'm totally on board. Okay, so let's get to Batman. So I'm going to warn you, seeing the chat for me is going to be kind of difficult. Mrs. DC Universe Geek is here. That's my wife. She's going to be adminning the chat. Let's see. She's going to be the moderator. So now she's the mod, so we don't get what we have last time. And also, I may or may not have my buddy. Oh, Brent's here. Hey, I wish I bought the first t-shirt. Brent is my brother from another mother, and he's here in the chat. Everyone say hi to Brent. I'm going to pull this table over. All right. Now, I've got a whole chair full of figures right there for comparisons and all kinds of stuff. This is going to be fun. I've never unboxed anything live before, so I'm really excited. Let's get the mic up here and ready to go. So you're all here. I'm here, sitting comfy at the table. Where's my tea? Oh, it's down there. Grabbing the tea. All right. Don't want to spill it. Don't want to spill some tea. That's a saying in the gossip community on YouTube or whatever. All right. So here it is. Here's the Batman figure. Put my pop out of the way. Put my tea back here. The Batman figure in question right here. And I'm sorry if it is showing up a little bit blue. That's because I've got 2 daylight lights right up there, and I've got like an orange one here. So that's why you're going to see different colors. But here's the figure in question. You may or may not have found him at retail yet. I know that I didn't find him at Walmart. I had to go to EB Games, $29.99 at EB Games to find this guy. So for those of you in Canada, right, and you want them, you go there. They showed up a couple days ago, and they had the entire wave, the entire case, which, if I'm not mistaken, had 2 Supermans, 2 Batmans, and then one of all the rest, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's what it had. Here's the side of the package. So clearly you can see that it's got the Detective Comics 1000, the issue that it's supposed to come from. And I say supposed to because the figure does not look like the image on the back here. But I gotta say, I am really impressed with the packaging because, as I said in the video, it screams adult collector. It looks like something that is not intended to attract children to buy the figures because it's not really a brightly colored package. The only real bright colors, aside from, you know, the DC logo here, is what's behind the figure so the figure doesn't get washed out in black or dark. And I think it's a fantastic design. I'm going to get my knife here. We're going to cut it open. And yes, I know that I just rip figures out of packages sometimes if I don't want to keep the box, but I do want to try and keep my hands on these and keep them nice. So, which is kind of counterintuitive because the stuff is stuck to the back of the card, which you'll see. But with Batgirl, Batman Who Laughs, and Nightwing, I actually just ended up cutting them out the bottom and carefully pulling them out. So yeah, there you go. Here's the bubble. All right, so the inside here, I'm impressed with the packaging itself because, like the inside, because you can see that he's really trying to make something fantastic here. The collector card and the stand. And the kind of sucky thing is that for those of you who like to keep your figures mint on card, you like to keep your figures, you know, like, let's say you want, no, sorry, mint on card. Let's say you want to be able to open the box, take the figure out, and then put it back in, you know, at will. This is kind of not really possible because you got to rip this to get the card out, which kind of sucks. And you can rip it partially and leave it on there, but in the end, you're still ripping it, right? So it's just one of them things. Oh my God. I don't have any proper fingernails. Hold on. Let's just get the knife going. Get that stand out of there. I don't even know why I'm so concerned with getting it out. It really is just like a classic DC Direct black figure stand. All right. So there's that. We'll get rid of that. Now, bubble. Everything you can see there comes in the bubble. You got the Batarang. You got, what else does he come with? He's got the back grapple here and the Batarang here. Ooh, and they thick though, those Batarangs. The one that came with Barbara, it was thick. I don't really like the Batarangs that Mcfarlane has made. They're big and ugly, and this knife is dull. It's a razor, and I was only able to cut one of the bands. They're big and they're thick and they're chunky, and I imagine him throwing that Batarang being more like throwing a brick than something that's supposed to glide effortlessly and cut through the air. All right, get that out and get out the bat-shaped brick from the inside. And the figure. Does he have any more? Nope. All right. So move this guy over here. Here he is. They're kind of jangly in the package when you see them. Like, they're not like, it's almost like they're just shoved in there, like as a form of like weird punishment to the figure. Okay, Batman. Let's see if I can get him to stand. Don't fall over. My table is rickety, so it wants to wiggle. Oh, it's all ankle rocked. There. All right. Let's put him here for you for now. Don't fall. And the accessories and the card. So first of all, oh no, I dropped the bat brick on the table. There it is. Hang on. All right. Okay. There is the bat grapple. And I got to tell you, I don't like it. Like, I like the gun. The gun is cool. Like the thing that he holds on to. I like that. And what comes out the end, the little bat, put it on my forehead so maybe it stands out a bit better. I like that. I don't mind that. I don't like how big and thick that is. I really don't like that. That just screams child's toy. And even though it says 12 and up on the box, these aren't really intended for the 12-year-old audience. And then here's that bat brick. I'm not really that keen on it. Whoops, I dropped it again. Well, then, frig, it can... Oh, it's on the floor. It's slippery, okay? It's not my fault. I don't really like it, and it's really thick. Can you see how thick that is? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Maybe he's trying to like it's some kind of like a compliance, like a safety issue thing. And then obviously the stand, it's just your basic black stand. It says DC on it. And then there's the Detective Comics 1000 Batman trading card. I'm actually excited about the trading cards, if I'm being honest. I like the idea that they come with a trading card because after 3 years and many, many waves, we'll have this big stack of like high quality, mind you, they're thick trading cards. And then the back of the cards have like a bio right there and some traits. So that's what he comes with. And then we have the figure. Now, whoop, see what I did there? I caught it. Oh no, I'm blurry. Hold on. Let's get the camera to focus again. How do I do that? Stick my hand in front of it. There we go. Bring it on back. There we go, camera. Show me some love. All right. Now, yeah, I was just saying the figure. I wanted to be more excited about this figure. I promise you I did. But there's things about it that I really don't like. And I will talk about the things that I do like as well. I'm not just going to just say all the negative. You know I'm not like that. I really did want to like it. But for one, you can see it comes with a wonderfully sculpted but pre-posed cape. And I'm just not into that. You know, hanging over the shoulders. That pre-posed cape thing, that's years ago. Like, I think we've progressed as a collector community that people kind of, you know, I think most people are on board. If it's not going to be cloth goods, because not everyone agrees with cloth goods, yay or nay. That's like the whole, should it have a wire in the cape or not? There's different parties. At least have it neutral, right? Like the Arkham Batman figure. The Arkham Origins is a great example of a neutral cape. Or the one that came on the DC Multiverse Superman figure. That was a very neutral cape that worked. Maybe a bit thin, but it was neutral. This, wonderfully sculpted, but it's going to get in the way. Now, this is a bit of a softer rubber than Superman's cape. Superman's is harder, right? You can hear it. Whereas this one here, it's not quite as hard. It probably sounds just as hard to you guys. Now, the head sculpt as well, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't actually look like the comic it's trying to emanate. So there's that. And it looks a bit too small for me. I mean, does this not look a little bit too small? Does that head sculpt look like, it's in scale with the body? To me, it doesn't. To me, it looks like it might be just a little bit too small. And then my final complaint about it, my last thing I didn't like, is I don't mind the fact I like a ball joint in the torso. I was hoping that there would be more articulation with the torso ball joint, and there unfortunately isn't. But this just looks weird. Like this, like you see how it like kind of tries to go down over his abs like that. I don't like it. It looks like a short vest or a shirt. Not really something that I'm into. But other than that, I mean, the look of the gauntlets looks good enough to me. I like that. And the gauntlet spikes are actually a softer rubber. And I like the boots for all of these multiverse figures because they're sculpted. Like they're separate sculpted pieces. Are these ones? Looks to be so. I know Superman's and I know Batgirl's and I'm pretty sure Nightwing's were. They're separate sculpted on. Are the gloves separate? I got to get it in the light. I don't have enough light where I'm sitting. I can't tell you. No, they're not. Another thing that I didn't like about it, I don't like the symbol on the chest. I just don't. I don't like that bat. I don't. And I don't recall him actually ever looking like this. Like quite, I mean, even they didn't even get it right. I mean, this is actually better than this. I don't really ever recall him with a bat like that as like a current continuity thing. Maybe the occasional artist does. So those are the things I didn't like about it. The utility belt for me is like, yay or nay. I mean, I could go without it. It's all right. Like he did a good job of recreating it from the cover. So those are the reasons why this is not my favorite Batman. However, I will talk about things that I do like about it. I like the fact that Mcfarlane pays a lot of detail, and I will actually bring out Batgirl, Nightwing, and Batman Who Laughs. He pays a lot of detail to the actual suit itself and gives it like all kinds of extra stuff going on there. Some people might say that it's like, oh, he's doing too much, but I would just say, well, look at Mezco 112th Collective. I mean, they do all kinds of crazy stuff, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. In the case of this Batman figure, I really feel like it does. The articulation for this guy, the head, none of these figures' heads are on a hinge, like we mentioned with a ball peg. I took a head off at one point. I'll take this one off. You can see in there, it's a ball peg, but they've kind of tried to hollow out the top a little bit so that it can kind of roll around. So I see what Mcfarlane's trying to do here. I just don't think it's very effective, I guess, is, my point. But the head is on a ball peg, and it's like, it's all right. They can all look down. Actually, he can look up with just his head farther than Superman can. That's actually not too bad. And then the torso, let's do the torso test. Waist and torso are both on ball pegs. And so holding the waist straight and bending it back, that is as far as we can get. I don't know. I've seen worse. Pop back up, though. And then bending down from the waist, that's as far as you can get. And see, at this point, see the little bits there in his abs? They kind of begin to get in the way at that point. They're not as useful. So, but, I mean, there is, he can turn and... Did you just see that? Did you? Oh no! Call the bat paramedics. He's lost an arm. It's a ball joint, as you can see. So that's the construction, I guess. Let's just use the opportunity. And clearly, it's just gonna fit. It's just gonna fit back in there. Just in there. All right, let's get it. Just push it. There. Okay, I got it back in. I did. No harm. No foul. It doesn't actually break out. It pops out because ball joints are known to do that. This is not like unique to Mcfarlane toys that this happened. All right, elbows. So he does have double jointed elbows, which unfortunately they didn't give to Superman. As I mentioned in my video, I would have liked double jointed elbows with my Superman, but Batman does have them. They have the rounded ball hinge right there in the wrist, right? So, I mean, we all pretty much know what a rounded ball hinge can do. Spinny, spinny, back and forth and stuff like that. I mean, it's good. It's kind of ugly, but it's useful. And he's also got the bicep swivel. So there's actually plenty of articulation in the arms. And what about, oh, wait a minute. No, I need to address the elephant in the room. Oh, maybe it's not so much of an elephant. I was going to say the cape is going to hinder it, but as you can see, the cape is a soft enough rubber that it just kind of moves up out of the way. Let's just fold it out of the way. You get a view of the body. But yeah, so that kind of moves out of the way. It looks kind of ugly, though, when it moves out of the way. Groin, he's got that Mcfarlane groin, the way that he does a groin. I've seen these on the Fortnite figures, too. It's like a hinge that kind of has some clicky things right there. And the thing is, the way that he's done Superman and Batman is he's got the trunks as separate pieces there. And so I don't know. I like the look of it, and I will take the lowered amount of articulation. Legs forward, legs backward. He can do the splats. I don't know. That's pretty much articulated. And then there's no thigh cut. So what can he do? That's actually all right. Could be worse. Could be better. But I mentioned this actually before I actually had any of these in hand, that as long as he rotated round and round up here, it would make up for there not being a thigh cut. Superman can do it too, not quite as effectively. This Batman's actually, aside from right here, aside from the ab crunch, he's actually better articulated than Superman. And of course, he's got double jointed knees. Always a fan favorite, myself included. And finally, he's got those rounded hinges in the ankles and toe articulation. So I feel mixed about this figure because I wanted him to look better. I wanted him to have a better... To me, it's so important that you get Batman right because, yeah, sure, Superman's my favorite, and I think that he looks fantastic. Batman is my second favorite, but I know for a lot of people, Batman is their favorite. And for a large number of people, Batman is their favorite. And he is arguably DC's flagship. Sometimes it's Superman, sometimes it's Batman, but he is arguably DC's flagship. So this figure needed to be really, really good, and I feel like they kind of missed the mark. I don't think it's a bad figure. It's just not. I don't think it quite gets there. My opinion. I'm not saying it's trash, and this is. I'm aware it's all personal preference, but all right. I'm going to pop these up here for a second. Talk in the chat for a few seconds, and then I'm going to do some comparisons before I get off of here. So let's see. Be aware, my table is rickety. All right. Batman Who Laughs. Don't fall. Oh, I really hope to God these guys don't fall, because they'll fall straight down on my desk. And once you get the paint rub on the nose, oh, that is a catastrophe. Don't bump the table, Brad, and we won't have to deal with it. Here's Babs. I love this figure. I do. You'll see. I'm working on my review. It's almost done, but I wanted to take my time and do something really cool. All three, Batman Who Laughs, Batgirl, and Nightwing, are going to be in one video. It is quick. I do try to get through as fast as I can, but I do try to be thorough. I really like the Batgirl. I like all three of these a lot. Like, I really, really like them. I think they're strong figures, and they're certainly better than anything that Mattel ever did. 100%. And I would say they're right up there with like top-notch quality collector figures. Like, a lot of people don't like them, and everyone has their own opinion. I just don't. When I hold these figures in my hand and I have them in hand, I can't look at them and go, they're crap. I just can't. I understand when someone doesn't want to start a new scale, but I don't think they're trash. Okay, so those are the ones that I've got open so far. I do have Hellbat and Superman Unchained at the EB Games waiting for me to go in and pay for them to pick them up. So I will be starting work on that on Friday. But right now, this is what I have from the Multiverse line. And overall, I find myself actually really impressed. I probably will not be reviewing any of the animated ones, maybe Superman, but that'll be it, because I just don't really like them that much. I've seen them in person. Jon Stewart looks okay, but they're just not wetting the whistle for me. I may or may not do Green Arrow. I may. Stephen Amell might end up on my channel. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, so there they are. And let's talk in the chat for a second. I want the Batman Who Laughs because he's unique, but the others I'm pass on. Yeah, the Batman Who Laughs is I love him. I will warn you, and you'll see it in my video. Heads up. This guy does have articulation up in the abs and the waist, but it's really difficult to use, like pretty much useless. Like, they could have just made it a solid piece. Hey, Brad, would you ever do a kit bash video of you switching the cape on Batman and Superman? I've done kit bash videos on how to do cape swaps, and I would just use the same procedure. I would just either use a neck piece, or I would sew the cape around his neck, and that would be it. Like, it really is pretty simple. Same thing with Superman. I would take the cape off, drill the holes out, and stuff the cape in the holes, and just be done with it. Arrow Dodger, do I think a cape swap is going to be a real difficult for Batman and Supes? Batman, no, I really don't, because I'm going to lay these guys down now before I knock them over. I don't think it'll be hard for Batman, Arrow Dodger, because you've seen that head comes off really nice. Ooh. Let's do some head swaps after this. Yes, because I got a stack of heads right there. All right. The Batman won't be hard because, for one, you can see it's a soft rubber, right? So that can come up pretty easy. And I'm just gonna try it. I'm just gonna try it. Oh, well, there you go. There's some more of the construction. It's a ball joint in there, and you got a ball jointed neck. I'm just gonna see how tight it's glued on. If it's not glued on super tight, okay, it's glued on a bit tight, but it wouldn't take that long. You just got to heat it up and keep pulling it. Maybe cut right along the line with an X-Acto blade, but it wouldn't be hard to do that. And I've actually got a couple neck pieces as well. Like, I've got, oh, don't fall off my finger, neck piece. I got that one that I can use. And I've also got that one that I can use. So one of those will probably fit. I'm betting that this one, the smaller one, will be better. Before we do the comparisons, let's pop some heads. Let's pop some heads on there. All right. So this is the one that comes in the DC Direct Detective 4-pack. No, Arkham. Blue's the Arkham 4-pack, actually. I've been saving that for a rainy day. Just pop it on there carefully. And that's what he looks like with that particular noodle on the shoulders. I think it's all right. Not the best. We have a head sculpt that actually I bought from the Asian market. It's a shrunk down one. I bought two of them that were white and they were way too big, and this is the same size, but I got this one specifically to see how it would look on there. And that's actually not too shabby, is it? No, that's all right. What do you think? Which Superman head do I think would be awesome on the Mcfarlane Superman figure? The one that came on it. I like that one, actually. I like the one that came on it. Having grown up with DC Collectibles and DC Direct NECA figures, I love the fact that they are in a matching scale. So for me, I don't have to change scales at all, to be honest. Yeah, I've actually found they do go very well with existing 7-inch figures. Like, very, very well. I got a stack of heads right there. Yeah, I know. That sounds kind of creepy, doesn't it? So there's this one. I like this. This so far is a winner. So let's stick that one on my desk up here. Next, I've got a repainted version right here from DC Collectibles. And that one popped on the shoulders. That one even doesn't look too bad. That one looks all right. And when you have the head in the right scale, it definitely makes the figure look better. I'm going to pop that one down there too. And you know me, of course, when the new 52, when the Rebirth Batman comes out, who's actually in black, I'll end up buying like a few of them from my local comic store. Here is the Mezco 1/12. I'm not assuming this will look very good, but it might. That one seems just a little too bulbous. Just a little bit too bulbous. All right, next. Oh, these ones have pegs in them. I don't have any hot water. Okay, well, there's this one that I'm going to try. Maybe I'll pop it on Instagram. That is from the Jay Lee Batman. And then I'm just for funsies, I've got this little guy right here that I'm going to put on there. Try those. So, yeah, eventually he will end up with a cloth goods cape. I promise you, I will not keep that cape. I just can't see myself doing it. And as for this head, honestly, because it's smaller, this head is smaller, I bet you it can be used on 6-inch scale figures. Like, I wonder how it would look. For starters, here's my custom Rebirth Batman. I've got this head. I like this head. I waited for a long time to find a figure that I thought would have a good enough, like the right body to put it on. And I bet you that this would actually look spiffy. Oh, too far away. Spiffy on that body. I'm going to try it. Anyway, I'm going to try it. All right, so let's do some comparisons before I hop off of here and call it a night, because I don't have that much time, but I wanted to do this with you here. Let's move these figures out of the way. That's my other Mcfarlane's. This office is a mess. It is filled with figures. There are stacks of figures just piled on top of one another. Oh my God, I almost knocked my wife's can of pop onto the floor. That's Mrs. DC Universe Geek. She's moderating this. Hang on. Sorry, Miss DCU Geek. Yeah. All right. Margaret's a trooper. Move the heads off to the side. Take a sip of the super tea. And let's see if we can do some stands here. So the first thing I'm going to do before I stand in with Batman's, I know that a lot of you folks don't want to start a new collection, and that makes sense. I mean, I understand that that's kind of a financially painful thing to do. Let's move the table a little bit. All right. You don't want to start up a new collection. That can be financially painful. So let's try them with some other DC figures that you may already have first, like other Bat Family figures. So here is Burnside Batgirl, DC Collectibles. And I think that when you put them side by side, that's an all right scale. Like, you could pose those together nicely. We have Damien, and I do have both Mattel Damiens, but I don't like the hooded version. The knee pads always fall off, and that hood and cape is just so gets in the way. But as you can see, I think he scales pretty well with Damien. So there's two. It's two you can pose him with. We have the Red Hood. Does he go well with the DC Essentials crappy ankles Red Hood? And I will give it to Mcfarlane that he went with the ball hinges, but they work. And it's like I've said all along, ball hinges can work if you do it right. My son's got a Saitama One Punch Man, and it's got the ball hinges, and it's awesome. It stands no problem. Do I have? Oh, I'm gonna have to use the figure stand and stick his foot there. And he's actually one of the only DC Essentials that has foot peg holes. What's the deal with that? Figures that don't stand and you don't give him foot peg holes, but he's got them. So yeah, you could have him posed alongside. Who else do we got here? Ooh, how about Nightwing? If you don't want to invest in the other Nightwing, I think that could work. Well done. I caught him. That would have been bad. These guys, they don't stand very well to begin with. I really hate standing these guys up. Okay. So there you go. He can work as part of your bat family. And if the things that I've mentioned that you don't like about him, like the head, maybe it's too small, you feel, or you don't like the cape, those two things can be fixed. You can actually, make the figure better in that regard. Can't do much about the symbol on his chest. It is big. It is clunky. It's molded into his body, and it certainly could be better. And you can't do anything about the abs right here, the articulation there. Look, sorry, the torso right in there. You can't really do much about it. And Joker. And let's bring in two more. How does he scale? How does he scale with Tim Drake? Let's find out. I'm actually seeing this when you do. I assume you will, but see, and I don't mind that either. Tim Drake is supposed to be shorter, and we know that in the multiverse, he is a tall figure, and so standing him next to your existing multiverse Batman, which is actually a smaller figure, because it's a red box multiverse, it just doesn't look quite right. So posing him alongside this Batman, this is actually a really nice Bat family as far as I'm concerned. Okay, what else? Joker. I'm going to take all these guys down, and let's bring in his arch nemesis, the Joker. So look, side by side, you could totally have these guys. Batman's supposed to be a bit taller than the Joker. So that actually works. So these guys are not, these 7-inch figures, for those of you who don't like the scale, they're not a complete lost cause as far as scale goes. They just will not go with like 99.9% of your multiverse figures. All right. Now we'll do the comparison with other Batman figures, and then I will call it a night. So we have, that's a DC Essentials Batman. He stood. Oh my God, that's a rarity. DC Collectibles Batman, right there. So you can see he's roughly about that size there. Let's bring in a DC Direct Batman Incorporated. I wonder if the Incorporated head would look good on this Batman. It might. Some people hate that head, and some people love it. I've grown to like it less over the years, but loved it at first. And then we're going to bring in, here's the icons right here. We're going to bring in one more here, DC Universe Classics. And actually, no. Let's bring him in right next to him after, because that's a Batman figure that a lot of people, that's the scale that a lot of people were wondering about. Here he is with a slightly customized DC Direct 10th anniversary. Never wants to stand up because he's got a weird wonky cape Batman. So he's 7 inches scale, par for the course. I would argue that these are amongst the best, like the most articulated 7-inch scale figures that we've gotten. Failing that of the DC Collectibles Arkham Knight. A lot of those guys were so articulated. You guys probably caught my review of those. I did those a long time ago. I did like a bunch on a mega review. So there's the scale, though. That's how he scales with a bunch of other Batman figures. We're going to do a few more. Let's bring these guys out of the picture like that. Let's bring in a DC Universe Classics scale. Now, this is obviously not factory. Those of you who watch my channel know that I can't keep my hands to myself. It's a customized Batman, but don't fall. See, definitely smaller. I know that some of you are hoping you could fudge in, these guys with their DC Universe Classics, but there really is absolutely no way you could fudge him into a regular DC Universe Classics display without him looking like he's part nephilim. The guy's just massive compared to DC Universe Classics. And then let's actually bring in down here. Here's the Multiverse Batman. Again, sorry, customized. New cape, new neck piece, new head, new belt. But that's the scale. That's the body size. Even smaller than DC Universe Classics. All right. What just fell down? A Batman. He couldn't take it anymore. He's like, I'm done. He jumped off my lap. Oh, gosh darn it. You ever try to pick something up, and then as you're trying to pick it up, you're not looking, your fingers are just pushing it farther away from you? I just have one of those. What do we got left? Let's bring him up. Ooh, talk about pre-posed capes. And let's bring up the NECA. All right. So you can pose a lot of these figures with your NECA. As you would have seen in my Superman video, he does go alongside the Green Lantern and the Batman. So if you're going to forego this Batman and you're just happy with the NECA, they are comparable. I mean, you have to take into account they're all different characters, so they can be slightly different sizes, but I think that's completely, comparable. And then we have these guys had pretty good articulation, but the ankles could be just a little bit weird. Some worse than others. Green Lantern was horrible. Don't fall down. Hold on. Let's just get him. Let's get him upright first. That's the other thing about rubber capes. The bigger the cape, the more it weighs, and the more it unbalances your figure. All right. So there he is. Greg Capullo. And that is a Greg Capullo head. It's just from a different Batman. It's actually from the Commissioner Gordon. I feel like this head looks more like he looked near the end of Capullo's run. And then obviously the NECA. So there you go. That's all the scale comparisons. Sorry if I missed any, but okay. One more, just for ridiculous funsies. Here we have the gigantic, buff, massive, animated Dark Knight Returns Batman. Just for funsies. He's huge. This guy's huge. When I reviewed him, I was like, when he showed up in the mail, I was amazed at how big he was. I didn't know he was going to be quite as big as this. He's freaking huge. Okay, now I can move the table over, talk in the chat for a few moments, and then call it a night. I'd like to answer some of your questions. I'd like to hear some of your opinions. Just trying to, when you have heads, you got to put heads down carefully so you don't scratch them. And once you scuff the paint off the nose, that sucks. All right, take my sharp implement, put it up here. My dull sharp implement. Take the card, put it there as well. I know that some of you folks were probably hoping that I would do an actual review, like a video review, and I'm just not going to. I'll post pictures. I'll post pictures on Instagram, absolutely for sure. But I really don't plan on doing any kind of full review of this guy. And this, out of all the figures that I'm buying from this series, this will be the only one that doesn't get a full-on review. Let's move to the table and come and sit. Oh, no, one more comparison. I know that some of you will absolutely be wondering. I bet you there's people in the comments that have actually asked. All right. 3 bats are better than 1 in Gotham. Alfred. Yes, let's do that too. Let's get their feet lined up. And they're actually, that's not bad. I mean, okay, so you can pose the large multiverse Alfred with this guy because he's just big, right? He's a big, that was one of the complaints that everyone had. All of us mentioned that he was kind of big, so you can pose him with her. All right. Bob Buster, how's it going, Bob? Good video, Brad. Awesome to be a part of the live stream. Well, I'm glad to have you. I don't do this very often, although I've done it twice sort of recently. How do you look next to the Mcfarlane Action Comics 1000 Superman? He'll look better once I customize him, but for scale-wise, he's fine. His head looks a bit small. His head looks a lot small. See the comparison of their heads there? Yeah, his head looks small, but and honestly, a lot of people, they talk about Superman's mid area being a bit too thin, and when you have him posed properly, it looks a tad, but it really doesn't look that bad in person. You really honestly don't notice it. Whereas Batman's, I mean, hello, where's the mid area? it's so narrow. It's so skinny. But I'm going to upload this stream to my channel. Well, it will be uploaded on the channel. Yeah, I just didn't want to do an actual like edited video for this figure. I just can't. Like, it's not something that I'm not excited about this enough to want to actually sit down and take 2 days to make a video about it. You know, and besides that, I've never unboxed anything live before, and I thought it might be fun, and I was right. It's fun to unbox with people. Will I make a video showing my custom? Probably not a video, but it will be on Instagram. So those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, just look up Brad DC U Geek on Instagram, and you should be able to find the pictures once I'm done. And I will be customizing it like fairly quick. Brad, do you know if sell kids size? Oh, do I sell kids shirt size? I'd like to get one for my kids. They watch your videos. I should. I'm still new to the Teespring thing. For those of you who don't know, I have a Teespring shop because I'm going to put the camera up. I have a Teespring shop because I'm trying to offset the cost of running the channel, because everything is like just really expensive here in Canada. Groceries, everything. It's like, so I'm trying to offset the cost by selling t-shirts, and there's going to be more designs. Like, don't buy a t-shirt just because you're trying to support the channel. I want people to buy a t-shirt that they want, and that means, you know, making hopefully shirts that people like. But they should be available in all sizes. I'm new to the thing. I didn't exclude any sizes, so it should be. You can check if you'd like to. Can't wait for the Deceased figure, says Samuel Pradanta. You mean the DC Essentials Deceased? I'm actually not that I'm not that excited about those figures. I don't know if the DC Essentials is even going to continue that long. Will I get Batman Essentials Nightfall figure? Yes, that whole wave when it comes in. I'm going to do 2 videos. I'm not sure if I'll do 2 heroes and the 2 villains, which, come to think of it, I probably won't. I'll probably do Batman and Catwoman and then Green Lantern and Sinestro. But there'll be 2 videos about them. And I'm really excited about those, actually, because that Nightfall Batman looks great. The Ballant Catwoman looks awesome. We need a Green Lantern in our Essentials lineup because, in case you haven't noticed, we don't have one. And then the same thing with Sinestro. It's always cool to get another Sinestro. Do I have a Twitter account? Says JBecca Prime. I do, but I never use it. And since YouTube stopped automatically loading, like posting your videos to Twitter, I never tweet anything. I'm just not a Twitter bug. I'm more of I do Instagram. Instagram is my thing. I love Instagram. I'm very pictorial. Twitter tends to be a place where people get into arguments, like a lot. Twitter can be so trying on my patience, so I don't bother. Batman versus TMNT scale. That's across the house, and I don't want to run and get it. I would say he's maybe a little bit smaller, maybe. Yeah, a little bit shorter than that one. I would like a video on every Batmobile I have in my collection, says Fernando Velez. Wow, that's a lot of Batmobiles. That's maybe in the future at some point. Did I get the animated series Batman? No, I didn't. And that was Uno Print El Salvador. No, I didn't get it, and I probably won't unless I find it for rock bottom prices. Or one miraculously gets sent to my P.O. box. I will not be probably reviewing that. I'm just not that excited for the animated ones. I personally feel like he should have done more comic book accurate characters rather than filled the spot with animated ones. That's my opinion. I know that those of you who like the animated ones, you might not like that. And, you know, you may wish there was more animated figures too. And I respect that opinion. I just am not really that into them. Will I get the Mcfarlane Margot Robbie Harley Quinn figure? Maybe. Maybe not. At this point, I think I mentioned it last stream, I'm not really super excited about the Birds of Prey movie. I like it. The more comic accurate, the better. If it's about a problem suspending disbelief because Harley Quinn looks like Harley Quinn, and just write a good movie around it, and we can suspend disbelief. Right? Give us a good script, light it properly, give it good direction, and we can suspend disbelief. I mean, it's just as easier or hard to suspend disbelief with the current one. So I don't know. I'm not super excited about that movie in general. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to give it a chance, but how would I feel about a Mcfarlane Christopher Reeve movie wave? I wouldn't like a wave, no. But Superman, yes. I think that if they did any other characters, they'd be peg warmers for the most part. I feel like Superman would be a no-brainer seller, while everyone else, maybe Zod, but even then, I don't really feel like he would sell as much. Case in point, the Mattel 12-inch Movie Masters Reeve Superman sold very well at the Toys R Us in the next city over from me, while I believe Zod and Luthor stayed there for a long time. Have 4 tests tomorrow, and watching this gave you a small amount of happiness, Batman fan? Well, good. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I hate taking tests. I get really anxious. We're the only one who saw Professor Pig in the first trailer. Oh, talking about the... I couldn't answer that one. What was the head on the Joker? Oh, yeah, that head. This one here. Because I stole... So I can get into focus. Focus, camera. You want to focus. I know you do. Focus. It's like, no, I'm not going to focus. You suck. The head on this Joker is actually from a DC Direct Batman and Son version Joker, I think. And I pilfered the head off this one and actually stuck it on one of the newer multiverse Jokers. I think it looks great. You like Ron 6751. You like the Mcfarlane line? Just wish the capes were cloth. I do too. It's not a deal breaker for me if the capes aren't cloth, but I really think that the figures would have been that much better had they have been cloth goods capes. I agree with you. Animated designs, not good action figure designs ever in history of figures being made. Horus 219. Well, I can't say I think it's that bad. I mean, but definitely I'm not impressed with their design yet either. Absolutely. McDuck Dude, can you do a Kit Bash live stream? I would love to see the techniques you use. I probably won't do a live stream of that just because I take my time. And sometimes I can get frustrated. Sometimes they work really well. Other times I mess up big time when I'm doing it, and I have to start it over again. I've messed up so bad during kit bashes that I've actually had to buy another figure that I wanted the part from just to fix it. But in the end, it really just is the stuff that I do for the most part. And let's grab out one of my favorite Batman figures. For example, let's grab out both, actually. To do these, that's a piece of cake. Like, there are people on Instagram that make me look like a clown. I mean, I make myself look like a clown. But there are people on Instagram that do such an amazing job with their custom work. They're painting their figures up, and they're doing all kinds of crazy stuff. All I do, I cut up the cape. So the cape is all custom cut, which I have a video about if you're curious about. And then in this case, I pop the neck piece over top of it, and I pop the head on. For the belt, all I did was cut the existing belt off and put it on a different Batman and cut the belt from the DC Essentials because I thought it suited this one better, and I just glued it on there properly. If I can keep the belt intact, stick it into the seam between the waist and the torso, and then glue it back together so that it can still have the articulation, that's what I'll do. But it really is a piece of cake. I don't do anything difficult. My kit bashes are expensive for the parts, but they're not hard, right? That's just the simple unmasked Secret Files Bruce Wayne head that came on that Batman. That's a belt from the DC Superheroes Batman. Cape is from the cape is from a Batman Incorporated Batman. That's it. That's all I did. Oh no, for this one I had to replace the arms. Actually, this one was a bit more, but even then it was still all just boil and pop stuff. It really wasn't that hard. So yeah, anyone can do that. Hey, Brad, will I ever do a tour around my office showing all my figures? I like the old video of you going around showing your figures in the office, showing how much figures you have. I actually recorded one. My office is such a mess. It's a mess. Look. Miss DC Universe Geek plopped all the Christmas decorations down there. And then you can see this here. It's a mess. And those are not mine. Just saying. I mean, it's okay if they are, but they're not mine. So yeah, and I've also got like they're out there. They're in the family room. I do want to make a video. I'm just not ready, but I do want to make one. People ask it all the time. I'm still bummed DC Collectibles ended their DC Films line, so I'm excited to see Mcfarlane do some Flash, Wonder Woman, etc. Yeah, I am too. I'm bummed they ended it because there were some characters I really wanted. They never even gave us a basic Batman to go with Superman and Armored Batman, so that kind of sucked. And I think that Mcfarlane will do some cool stuff, but don't expect him to do everything that we want him to do as far as character selection. Like, I know I've got my idea what I'd like to see, but he might not. Like, I was surprised he did the animated ones, to be honest. When the first images leaked online, like the first, not the images, but the first, like the information began to leak online in forums way before the images, I was like, oh no, don't do animated. Favorite Batman movie and Superman movie? Some days it's the first Superman movie, which is the gold standard for almost every superhero movie that's made. They all go back and look at that first Reeve Superman movie, or most of them do. I like Superman Returns. I think it lacked. I think the third act needed a fight. There should have been a big villain like Brainiac, but I liked it. And as much as I feel like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman weren't ideal for bringing DC Comics and Superman and Batman back to the world at large, the movie world at large, moviegoers, I still enjoy them, especially the director's cut, the big extended cut of Batman v Superman. I can watch that and enjoy it. I just take it for what it is. I had the very first edition of Star Wars comic book, says DJ Eurobeat. Marvel. I believe Marvel did those. Yeah. What's my reaction to Burt Ward coming out this week stating that during the Batman live action series from the 60s that they made him take pills to reduce the size of his... Yes, I heard that. Well, I mean, all the power to him. Who doesn't want that to be their problem? He stopped taking the medication after 3 days, though, being afraid he wouldn't be able to have kids. Strawberry Shortcake can't be an 80s baby without her. Right? That's my wife loves Strawberry Shortcake and Rainbow Bright. Won't be surprised if a Spawn versus Batman 2-pack is announced by McFarlane Toys, says Ron6751. I would love that, and I mentioned that last time. Wired cape and all. I think that'd be awesome. What do I think of the Storm Collectibles Bane? Don't own it yet. I'll probably end up buying Darkseid and Lobo first, and then going back and retroactively getting my hands on Bane, just because I'm just not super excited about that one. Hey, Brad, do I know about the comics known as Amalgam? You mean Amalgam? I think you're looking for Amalgam with an M. I think. You could be right. It could be an N. Yeah, that's when DC and Marvel kind of mixed together after the fight. So you had like Wolverine and Batman together, and you had Captain America and Superman. Yeah, I remember those. I was a kid when they came out. Yeah, Dark Claw. Yes, they should do a Dark Claw figure. I'm not sure if that would be a good idea. Not that it's a stupid idea. I'm just not sure it would be a good idea financially. I think that like that'd be such a limited, group of people, and I think a lot of people would just rather have like the immediately recognizable characters. I would personally rather see the big guns made, right? So in a wave, maybe you have like a couple big guns like Aquaman, Martian, Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and then you have a couple smaller ones that people might not be so apt to buy. Maybe like, I don't know, Zatanna. I'm trying to find small guns, Alligated Man, small guns to the general public, and maybe Captain Atom. Do those 6 characters or whatever, and work your way through the big guns and then the B-listers. Tony Mack, hey Brad, what's my favorite figure in the wave, and is Essentials Batman better or McFarlane's? Essentials Batman is not better for a number of reasons. Here's why. And this is after I finished telling you that I didn't like this one that much. I will say, hold on, I got Batmans all over the place. They're all stacked up on top of one another, so I need to be careful. There it is. All right. Essentials Batman, which this is not really. I mean, the cape, the neck piece, and the head and the belt are not essentials. But I don't like the basic look of these figures. They're not terrible, but I've pointed this out in my videos previously. I have images of the original pre-articulation sculpts of these figures. The chests were wider. They had to narrow them for the arms. And so they end up having that kind of narrow-looking chest. And that's what elongated the body at the knees and the elbows to make them look like they've got long, gangly chimpanzee limbs. And the same thing here. They're elongated here, all to give them articulation points. And so for that reason there, the body proportions don't look quite right. And I've mentioned that from the first place. Some it suits them better, like Flash, and others they cover it up, like with some of the Doomsday Clock figures, or with Red Hood. But in general, that bothers me about them. And then the ankles, these have to be the crappiest ankles in the history of articulated ankles. They're complete and total garbage. They click into place, but they do not click into place necessarily in the right place. Like, look at this. Here's the first clicky point, right? Here's the second one. And then the third one is up there. And so the figure, it wants to fall backwards. And usually you could fine tune where the ankle placement is for the balance. These ones, it's really difficult. And I really don't like the ankles. These have fallen over more times than I can even count. And I just don't like it. So whereas with this one, especially with customizing it, you know, the only thing that would really bother me about it, aside from the fact that it could be a bit more articulated, is this right here, this whole section right here. So, oh, and the bat. Bat sucks. But overall, I do think that the Mcfarlane one is better than the Essentials one. Squeeze me, Superpowers Batman t-shirt, please. I would buy that. I know. That's the thing. I want to do a whole bunch of Superpowers shirts. I don't think Kenner would, Hasbro would be wanting to chase after me for it because they're just the action pose on the back of the package. And I just don't see it really being much of a problem. It's like 30-year-old card art. And let's face it, that Junkman, he sells like t-shirts with like straight up other logos, like the Kenner logo, stuff like that right on the front of the shirt. And he just sells them in his t-shirt shop and gets away with it. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think they're after people like us, that kind of thing. Superman 1209. Hey, Brad, I hit you up many times on Instagram and letting you know how much you inspire me to maybe open my own channel. You should. I have a cyborg Superman that I'm trying to send you. Oh, well, that's awfully nice of you. Thank you. You should. You should. Just be aware what you're getting into. Back in the old days, you could do an action figure review, and it could be like, hey, guys, how's it going? My name is Stu, and I'm reviewing action figures. And here's my Batman figure. I would say if you want your channel to grow, make sure that you have as much happening in that video as you can. Go, 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 go. So there's that. And then understand that it is a very saturated market. A lot of people are making videos, and it's very competitive. But if you do, use long-form tags, good descriptions for your videos, like really descriptive. Like take every word from your title, put it in the first couple lines of your description, and then use good long-form tags. Don't waste your time with tags like action figure, Batman, Marvel Legends. I mean, you could put some of those in there, but really you want to take the bulk of the characters you have for your tags, and you want to do long-form tags. You want to be like, so for example, if I was going to be tagging this video, right? Tag what people will be typing into the search engine, what you think they'll be thinking when they type. So for example, I would be like, Mcfarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman, Mcfarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman action figure, DC Multiverse Mcfarlane Batman action figure review. Like you want to go with the long form tags. And I find you can go farther with that because everybody uses the small ones. Think of how many videos have Batman as a tag, or DC Universe Classics, or DC Multiverse. So if I have space left after the long forms, then I'll put those down in the bottom. But long form tagging really is the way to go. Martin Nailu. Hope I said that right. I put small pieces of electric tape in my Essentials Wonder Woman's ankles to give it more support. It's stabilized the figure so far. That's an interesting idea. I've never heard of that. I know that some people use the clear nail polish. They put on a couple layers of that, and it works. I just really wish they could have given Wonder Woman the same ankles that they gave Cheetah, the same kind of deal. Cheetah is a beautiful Essentials figure. She is a beautiful Essentials figure. She's one of the best. She was one of my favorite of the year. She's great. And then with Wonder Woman, this flagship character, they're like, let's give her the crappy ankles again so that she can't stand up. I was just so frustrated during that video. You have no idea how much I had to, like, taking pictures of that Wonder Woman was so frustrating because I get her in a pose and then she'd go clunk. I get her in another pose and then she'd go clunk. It's like, I hate those ankles. Did I like the Adam West 66 TV series? Have I ever watched the series, live action movie, animated movies? I was sad when Adam West died. Met Lou Ferrigno at Comic-Con once, asked him about work with Adam. I haven't seen the animated movies yet. Oddly enough, I have them. I have them downloaded. I haven't seen them yet for some reason. Maybe it's busyness. Kind of forget they exist. But I loved the TV show because it was on every single night after I got home from school. It was right there. Gilligan's Island, Batman, and then dinner. So I loved it. I watched almost every episode. Tony Mack. A Black Canary figure from Mcfarlane would be cool. Yes, it would, alongside Zatanna. I'm not a big fan of just making female characters just to make them so they can be more inclusive. Just like I'm not a fan of them making any other characters of anything just to be inclusive. I want characters that are good characters, good choices. They flow with the wave, and they're deserving of a figure. And so for Black Canary, she's a brilliant, strong female character. She's an excellent character in general. She's a deep character, and I would love to see her and Zatanna side by side in a wave. Absolutely. McDuck Dude, I do long tags, but damn, is it annoying and long to typo. Yeah, but it's worth it. It is. It really is worth it. It'll make your videos that much easier to find. That's half the reason why my channel grew to 12,000. And I know 12,000 is not a lot of subscribers in the grand YouTube scheme of things. There are action figure channels that have way more subscribers than I do. And admittedly, I'm late to the game. But what enabled me to grow as fast as I did? Because I know people that have been doing this just as long as me, and they're still only at 300 or 400. One of the things is those long-form tags, very good descriptions, and very precise titles. That's what really makes it searchable. And then it's down to you to be entertaining in the video. You got to be a destination that people want to watch. I know for me, I'm not for everybody. I annoy the crap out of some people. Some people just don't like me, and that's totally fine. Takes all kinds. But when I'm making my videos, I know that anyone watching my videos could be taking their time to be anywhere else on YouTube, watching anyone else's videos. So I want to make the video as entertaining as I possibly can while being informative. And so it's taking those things into consideration. That's also what, helped my channel. And really, I think that'd be good advice for anybody. I really think also we will be getting an armored Lex Luthor figure by Mcfarlane. That's Ron6751. I hope so. I was actually thinking that. That'd be awesome. But I wanted to be one of the big ones, like Hellbat size or Unchained Armor size. Darth Golden Freddy Gaming. Do you think McFarlane will make a 2019 movie Joker? Very good possibility. Because the Golden Globes, there was awards won. Oscars, cleaned up. And the movie made over $1 billion. So in my opinion, them making a Joker figure is that's just good business at that point. So I think there's a really good chance of that. Bob Buster, maybe in the future McFarlane can do a classic Neil Adams costume Green Arrow. Yeah, I would like to see that. I like the classic Robin Hood looking Green Arrow. I would love to see a Neil Adams style. I'm trying to get as many as I can. Dark Ranger. You're very entertaining, Brad, so who cares about the haters? Keep being you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I know on all my videos I get anywhere from 2 to 4 dislikes on my videos. And it doesn't bother me. I know that some people think that when you dislike videos, it bothers, the person. It really doesn't bother me. I should feel so lucky that I can get 1,000 views on a video and 1 or 2 or 4 people dislike it out of all those people. I feel lucky, And who am I to be I want everyone to like my video. I have to understand that some people will just not like me. And that's okay. That's all right. Yeah, Joker got 11 nominations for Oscars, by the way. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He cleaned up. That is massive. And, man, I think that it's well-deserved, too. Most for any comic book movie. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, I'm going to get to a few more that I do need to... I'm 10 minutes over, so I do need to go off. Let's see. Okay, I might have missed some, so I'm going to go up. Arrow Dodger, really wish they do a Raven. She's been so neglected. I agree. And most of the Raven figures we've got have sucked. The DC Universe Classics one with that stupid cape that goes all up like that, I hate it. I know that's like a pose that was like a classic thing, but really, honestly, could have done without it. And then the same thing with the DC Direct version of Raven, the old school one. Again, it's better looking, but it still sucks because the cape is up like that. I would rather... You know what? It's high time that they do a cloth goods Raven, because if you put a wire in a cloth goods cape with Raven, you can give her those iconic cape poses, cloak poses, but then also it can just be hanging over her shoulders like it is most of the time. Nightfall 192. Batman's not bad. Very stylized. Saw it in stores today. Bought the Batman Who Laughs instead. Yep, good choice. It works under the Mcfarlane approach, and the larger scale works for it. These are big figures. They are big. 7-inch scale. Absolutely. 89 Batman and returns Keaton, says Fernando. Hope McFarlane makes those two. Yes, I agree. Love to see those. Oh my God, this is live. Hey, Brad. Keep up the good works. I will, Anthony. I'll try. I try my best. Please continue doing the classic DC Direct figures review. I will. They're fantastic. You're a great you're a great collectibles, Brad. Keep going. Yeah, I got Nightwing back there in the box. Hold on a second. I've got... Move out of the way, chair. You're not invited to the party. Yeah. I got that I'm going to do. And I got that I'm going to do. And I've also got the 13-inch Martian Manhunter that I'm also going to review. Like, I'm not going to neglect the DC Direct. And even the old Kenner stuff and Hasbro, I've still got stuff to do. Absolutely. I love reviewing the old stuff. I do. Sorry about the VHS one. I thought I'd try something kind of different, but that VHS app that I used, it really kind of stank. The one that I had for my iPhone was better. DC needs to give their license to Hasbro. I disagree. And I don't want Hasbro to have Marvel and DC. I really, honestly, I don't. I think that Hasbro would do a good job. So I'm not saying you're wrong there. Like, they would. Hasbro would do an awesome job because they've been killing it with Marvel Legends. Maybe if Hasbro got the license after McFarlane. But I want to see what McFarlane can do first. And then Hasbro, you know, can try their hand at the table. But I don't think they need to give it to Hasbro. But I do think they could do good figures. I agree. Batsy41, hey, Brad from Quebec. Well, hello from Ontario. Good to see you. Hey, take it easy, Mr. Balharath. Listen to me. I have no idea what that even means. Is it a quote or is it a person in the chat? I kind of like this video. The VHS video reminded me of watching a worn out tape. Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of like a found footage action figure review / commercial or commercial pitch. I'm not really sure what I was going for. Something like that. I just wish that it was, you know, clearer. Like, I know it's not going to be completely clear. It's because it's VHS style, but it was just overexposed at points and didn't look that great. Hasbro would have Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. Yeah, that's kind of a monopoly on them. Yeah, but I wouldn't be opposed to them going forward after McFarlane. Need to do an animated Static Shock. The Static they made a while ago sucked. That's Alexander Thomas. Thanks, Fernando, for enjoying the VHS video. And also to you, Anthony. Thank you. Like the VHS video. This is Bob Buster. Well, maybe I'll do more, but I got to get a better app for it. Anyway, it is that time. I need to end the stream. It's been an hour and 14 minutes. I have a lot to do. I still got to finish editing. I got to try and exercise before bed because I've only got 15,175 steps, and I got to get this extra beer and food fat off of me that built up from, you know, the beginning of the warm season. So I got to do that. And I also kind of want to go upstairs and spend some time with Mrs. DC Universe Geek. And I think my son is working on a science project. So I got to run, everybody. Thank you so much for showing up. I really mean it. These are going really well, these live streams. So I'll probably end up doing more. And I likely will do some more live stream unboxings. Not with any more figures from this wave of McFarlane. Unless I manage to somehow get my hands on the animated ones. Then I'll do live videos of the animated, but I'm not going to make videos of them. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Have a DC day, morning, evening, wherever you are, depending on what time it is you're watching. And I guess I'll see you next time. Bye, super friends.